Hello everyone, today we will talk about the transit Mercury. The transiting Mercury is in conjunction with natal moon. The way the transiting Mercury behaves in conjunction with natal moon depends on the position of the natal moon. This transit may be more prominent in your life if you already have planets in aspect with natal moon. But the basics are this. That day you experience a lot of activities in your home or contact with family members, and you are more concerned about personal things than work, and conversations take on a certain emotional tone, intimate or nostalgic. Fast Mercury achieves a one-stroke conjunction with the natal moon that occurs each year and presents an opportunity to better understand the way you manage and process emotions. You tend to think and talk about your feelings more than usual, and you will express yourself emotionally and with increased clarity. And so it will mostly be dealing with personal and household matters. Awareness of your emotions comes as a need to verbalize it instinctively and articulate it more than usual. By creating the need to talk about how you feel, you will be able to articulate your feelings in a way that other people understand you. And it is likely that you will share memories and reminiscences, or you will discuss a very personal topic with someone you consider credible. These are opportunities to observe and study your basic emotional patterns and accompanying mental scripts to get clarity about them and perhaps start thinking about changing the focus to a new story or story you want to bring into your life. You can also find yourself thinking and talking about anything related to your daily life, such as your family, past, or family situation. If you are upset for some other reason, it will be difficult for you to communicate with others, especially if they are not in the mood like you. That is why the emphasis is on at home, because in the home environment there will be a greater sense of security and certainly a lot of activity. Whether you brought or made any changes to your doorstep or when visiting a parent or relative. This sharing of memories or discussing a very personal topic, and even just dealing with them, can take the form of actual communication through speech or written word, phone call and written message, with others, but it can also be an internal process. In any case or form of expression, your thoughts and moods will be so intertwined that it may be difficult to achieve objectivity in evaluating facts and details. But don't worry, your ability to discover the emotional background in conversations has improved. For this reason, some may find that, if you are relaxed, you are a great listener, precisely because you will be able to empathize and connect with thoughts about the past, feelings, and personal relationships. Either way, the opposite side of the phone, email, or armchair could be played by your mother or some other important woman in your life. She might come to visit or get in touch with you, especially if you haven't talked to her in a while. You will have an important conversation and deal with topics with which you are emotionally and intellectually connected. No matter what, you are more aware of how you feel, so this can be a good time to understand what you want, need, and to gain perspective on emotional issues or things from the past. While this could be a good day to focus on creative projects or your emotional needs, and leave everyday details for tomorrow when your mind is clearer. It will not be exactly like that if this whole situation takes place in Mercury's bad position, then communication will probably be disrupted. Any imbalance at such a time will prove to be neurotic or anxious to communicate, expressing your subconscious fears, insecurities, or becoming obsessive in thinking about situations in which you lack confidence. Logical thinking becomes more difficult and there is a lack of objectivity, and as the story changes, so will your basic feelings. On the other hand, as unexpected events evoke new feelings, you may find that the old stories you had no longer make sense in your world, and no longer look true. These are opportunities for great adjustments to underlying emotional patterns, paying attention to the scenarios and stories you tell about yourself and your life, and consciously adjusting them and vice versa. So, it's a good time to connect with friends, neighbors, our loved ones, talk to them from heart, to write someone a letter expressing your feelings. To travel briefly because of a family situation and to establish a verbal connection with a woman, your mother, or a person from your past. You will understand their problems because your focus is on the things you have in common, such as common backgrounds and interests, not on your differences. Making these adjustments will open up room for great growth in the next few years, and in some cases can and potentially encourage relocation. Therefore, it would not be bad to think about changes in your home routine and devise a plan to implement those changes.